Hi, this is Ron Hinn, Head of Member Engagement for PetroSkills. I'm very pleased to have you join us today for this brief module around quantifying the value of your membership in the PetroSkills Alliance. You'll find in the module three particular areas that we'll focus upon. The first is the competency maps, which PetroSkills provides to our member companies, addressing relevant current competencies along the lines of many of the disciplines that you have within your organization. These competency maps are managed by our discipline networks. And of course, PetroSkills, being a training company, trains against those competencies to help develop and close gaps that may exist relative to those competencies in your organization. We maintain the quality of those courses, and that's a big value of the Alliance membership, is that quality process that we put in place to make sure you are getting the best global training against those competencies. And then lastly, as an alliance, we come together, all of the member companies, to look for common solutions to common problems and help accelerate the time to solution and bring those in at a lower cost and higher quality. So three topics that you'll hear addressed by our CEO, Ford Brett. If you have any questions about membership in the Alliance, please let me know. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
So there's plenty. So this is the reason people join PetroSkills, is it helps them ensure that their development programs are better based on an industry standard competencies, so that they can focus on internal things, differentiating activities, and kind of create solutions working together with other members that are kind of better and faster than they could do it themselves. But they can also do it cheaper. And there's kind of three ways that working together in an alliance allows you to do it cheaper. First of all, the PetroSkills programs are cheaper than internal programs. New courses, depending upon the number of participants, reduce the cost by 50 to 90%. For existing course delivery and maintenance, we reduce the delivery cost by 20 to 60%. We reduce the cost of quality assurance, the amount of time you spend making sure the programs you deliver are correct. And we do that by about 50% a year, plus about $30,000 per discipline per year. Plus, we have a member discount of 5%. So member discount savings are on top of those savings that you would have by doing it yourself. And finally, creating and collaboratively maintaining the competency maps have significant savings. Saves you about $1 million a year, $1 million to license the PetroSkills maps as compared to creating yourselves. And the maintenance costs are lower by 30 to 50%, so a number like that per year. So there's significant amounts of money you can save by being a member of PetroSkills. And so the idea of lowering delivery costs on important but not unique programs, PetroSkills has economies of scale that lets us do this cheaper and better than you can probably do it by yourself. And you think about this, I'll just do it myself. PetroSkills members are big companies, and they have people that can create programs, deliver programs if they wanted to. Our remit is to focus on important but not unique programs, the things that are not really competitive because they're not unique to a specific organization. And if you had an existing course, depending upon the days to build a course or the cost of SME, burden cost of SMEs and traveling or not, course to deliver existing courses on, if you have 100 people taking it per year, maybe $550 per day. If you have 5 people taking it a year, it's probably $1,800 per training day because the maintenance gets allocated over a greater number of people. So delivering a course existing, those are kind of training costs per day. If you have more people, it might be lower, but it's a number like that. Creating a new program, because the cost to create the program, if you amortize the creation costs over 5 years, the training cost per day goes from, for 100 people per year, to $800 a day, to $7,500 a day if you're actually teaching it for 5 people. I mean, it's kind of crazy to create a course to only teach 5 people, but that's what it would cost. Well, PetroSkills has a number of different approaches for doing that, and the delivery cost ranges depending upon what the program is, whether it's a blended program, whether it's a public course that's nearby, whether it's an in-house course delivered in North America or in most of the world. By the way, our virtual programs, we have North American pricing for around the world. But in any event, looking at what is the cost per day to deliver these programs based upon the number of participants per year, if it's an existing course, it's always lower than the cost to do it yourself, depending upon what the option is. If you're creating a new course, they can be significantly lower. And so the savings as a percent of doing it internally for existing programs are 20 to 60%, maybe some number like 50% on every single option at every single scale. New course programs might save 90%. If there's a new program that only 5 people need to go to, PetroSkills save you way more money than doing it yourself. Compared to if you have creating a program for a large number of people, maybe savings on the order of 60, 50, 60%. So the idea behind this is because PetroSkills can create economies of scale across the alliance, we deliver programs cheaper than you can do it yourself. And the exact percentage savings depends upon the number of people you train a year and the exact cost of your internal SMEs and so forth. But the numbers are non-trivial. And these saving estimates do not include, by the way, the opportunity cost and distraction of internal SMEs. And so having SMEs work on something that's kind of normal or not unique as compared to differentiating activities that are adding value or higher value in your organization. Blended programs that we currently have offer a lot of savings on time testing out. So we are able to eliminate learning that people don't need by being able to test out, save scrap learning. We have better assurance with our blended programs. Our blended programs have just-in-time ability, so it's not waiting around to go to a program. It's what I need right now. And of course, the biggest savings in any training of all is the risk of not training. In other words, the cost of incompetence. And PetroSkills programs being frequent, convenient, and cost competitive are available when you need them. So if you need to have training, instead of going, well, I'll just do it without training, you have savings with those. So non-trivial savings on delivery costs. There's a second source of value of being a member of the Alliance, and that is the quality assurance costs. We lower quality assurance costs. So you can say, we're going to train somebody in, pick a topic, pressure transient analysis, well logs, casing design, whatever the topic is. And you can say, well, let's just buy a program and off the shelf anywhere. What's the risk of training not being what it needs to be? People not learning what they need to learn. So organizations often have some sort of quality assurance program where they'll have an internal technical group vet programs to make sure, hey, what program are we going to use for casing design? Let's have somebody look at that. And this shows 3 different approaches. This is going to value 3 different approaches for assuring the quality of a discipline's program. So production engineering, reservoir engineering, facilities design. We have a program to train people. How do we know the program's any good? And the cost of quality will depend upon a number of things, but one thing is how much time are you going to spend running down the programs to make sure they're okay? And the number we've set in here, and the value is going to depend upon the burden cost of the expert, the price of the program, the burden cost of participants, and so forth, and the amount of time you spend quality assuring. But say, hey, let's spend 20 days a year making sure the program for geophysics is what it needs to be. We'd have an expert to review the program, ensure that it's people are going to the right ones, and so forth. So if you did that and you had 4 regions in a company, so we're going to have somebody in North America, Middle East, Africa, and Far East do that, and have an expert in each one of those regions do that themselves, you'd have 80 days quality assurance. Well, organizations will have central technology groups do this kind of thing, so you don't have to have each region go through and make sure they find their own casing design program or a program for a discipline. And so you have one person do that for the entire company. And the reason people do that is instead of having 4 experts do it at 20 days a year, you have one expert do it for 20 days a year. You might reduce the quality assurance overhead with an internal group by 60, 66% or 80%. PetroSkills does a similar idea. And what we do is instead of having quality assurance for a company, we have a quality assurance for the industry. So our PetroSkills networks review our program and divide up the work of quality assuring what's in our not unique programs, so that we have several eyes on a particular program, making sure what's delivered is what is appropriate, and basically divide and conquer the idea of quality assurance for the programs that are for important but not unique competencies. It's the same idea that companies do, where they have an internal technical group assure the quality, but we do this for the industry. What this does is and how do we do this? We do this with quality, with curriculum advisors from member companies that work together to review the programs, and do that by having them spend 4 days a year reviewing the quality of the programs. So basically what that does is, if you look at the quality assurance cost as a percent of the total cost delivered, and the delivery cost includes the cost of the program, how much is the training cost, and the burden participant cost. And so how many people are being trained and how much time are they spending in the program. If you have, this shows the cost of quality assurance as a percent of total training costs, depending upon the number of training days per year in a discipline. If you have 100 training days a year, say if you assume that was a 5-day course, so 20 people taking a 5-day course, or 21-day PetroSkills modules, or 100 days. If you had 20 days per year of quality assurance working on this, the quality assurance cost is 24% of the total cost of the program. If you have 500 training days per year, the cost of quality assurance of that program is 6% if you do it yourself. Using the PetroSkills network approach, we reduce the cost of quality assurance by almost 50%. So basically what happens is you save $32,000 a year on the cost of quality assurance. That's by dividing and conquering, reviewing the programs and ensuring they deliver what should be delivered. And you get a 5% member discount for participating in the Alliance. Plus, you have the opportunity cost and distraction of internal SMEs working on something that's not unique or differentiating. And we ensure we have PetroSkills programs, frequent, convenient, and cost competitive, available, that are high quality and deliver what needs to be delivered when you need it. We have another presentation on how the board approved Alliance processes work. And so how does the Alliance assure quality? Describes how the networks works and what's involved in this. So you two forms of savings. This one right here, lower quality assurance costs, lower cost of delivery in terms of doing it yourself. And there's a final one, and that is PetroSkills competency inventories are cheaper, faster, better, and cheaper than doing it yourself. And so they're faster because PetroSkills competency matrices and competency maps are available now, and the time to getting a solution in your company is weeks, a few weeks, instead of months or years of creating them yourself. It's cheaper, and this shows one member's initial an analysis of savings of PetroSkills versus doing it in-house. Other people have come up with similar examples, and the net present value of the 3-year effort on this is $970,000, almost $1 million of doing it yourself. The internal rate of return on this activity is 2,000% almost. And so the idea of if you don't have competency maps, using the PetroSkills maps to start out, the number like $1 million cheaper than doing it yourself is probably accurate for the full set of maps. And not only that, the cost of maintaining these maps, you save on maintenance costs of 30 to 50% by doing it yourself. And not only are these things faster and cheaper, they're better because the mind of the alliance allows you to focus on differentiating activities and, not unique skills. You can benchmark competency maps against a global standard, which our alliance members use. And you can immediately start using these world-class development activities linked to skills so that you're up and running going now with training to close competency gap. And so PetroSkills, lets you complement and extend your internal efforts by working with other companies to create solutions that are better value. And they're cheaper, lower cost, and the programs that we have are lower cost than doing it yourself, significantly lower cost for new programs. We reduce the cost of quality by, are we sure what's delivered is the quality that we need? And that working in the alliance programs as compared to doing it yourself is cheaper. And then finally, the competency maps versus doing them yourself and going it alone are significantly lower initial cost and much lower maintenance costs.